Welcome back to Entropia. This is Sturge with episode 13 of Profitable Mining in the Entropia universe. And today I want to talk about how to find and or create your own market for the resources that you mine up, whether it be ore and matter or treasure or angel scales if you get them. I've only gotten one hit of angel scales in my life, but how to create and or find the market, the best market, I should say, for those resources, and how to continue to down the road sell all of the mine those things up and then sell them for a profit so you can continue to earn and or stay alive with your ped flow here in the Entropia universe. But before I get to that, I would like to say please subscribe, hit the subscribe and notification button down below. It helps me tremendously to understand who's coming to the channel, what kind of content they like to see, and what I need to be doing to continue to create and pump out good content for the audience, as well as follow me on Twitch. I stream 3 days a week. I don't have a set schedule yet, but it's coming. Just give it time. Once I have a full-time job again, boy, I'll be have a regular schedule for Twitch. And I'm also on Instagram, and I have a Discord. Links are down in the description below, so please consider following me there and subscribing to the channel. So what I want to do today is show you how I discovered a couple of different markets for the ores and end matters that I dig up here on Cyrene. And I'm going to start with just basically a story because it happened recently where an avatar really desperately needed something, a resource here on Cyrene that I happen to know how to find in quantity constantly. And then, of course, I'm going to show another example, and then we'll talk about some other ways you could do this on a different planet like Arcadia or Calypso or Next Island or Two-Land, for that matter. But let's start with the real basic stuff in the auction house, and then move on from there. Okay, one of the first things that I do whenever I come to a planet is make sure that I'm keyed into the planet-specific chat channel. Not just the trade channel, but their chat channel, because eventually you run out of channels that you can follow. And sometimes you'll see someone call out for a specific resource in the main chat channel, not in the trade channel. Maybe they either want to go mine it up themselves, or they're doing it for a daily, or whatever the case may be. And I saw this one recently where an avatar called out for, let's say, hazy crystal. I'm not going to name names or the resource, but I'm very grateful to this person for buying all of my resource. We'll just use hazy crystal example. This person needed hazy crystal and wanted to know where to mine it, and I said, I have a lot of hazy crystal. I'm happy to sell to you, but I can't tell you where to mine it. I'm polite, but because this is how I'm going to make ped and my money and to stay alive. And while that avatar was disappointed, we still were able to do the deal a couple of times because I'm able to daily find a certain amount of hazy crystal at this 160% markup, and that's what I sold it at. And I want to avoid the auction house because I have to pay a huge fee because of markup, and I don't want to pay that fee if I can just deal directly with an avatar and get enough of the material to sell to them. So the long story short here is I ended up selling 70 ped worth of the resource, hazy crystal, whatever it is, and that person, had that person known where to find it, wouldn't have ever needed me, right? Because their skill level and ped card was so high and so deep that they would not have needed me. So I had to keep that secret to make some ped, but 70 ped and was great. You know, that was a heck of a deal, and I know how to make it, or not how to make it, but where to find it. And if you look on the auction house, there is no hazy crystal being sold. So what you can see is only 11.1 ped has sold in the week, and that's only 37 units of hazy crystals. So if you know where that is on Cyrene, you can make some ped. So let's use another example. Okay, let's take an example of an auction order that is here on Cyrene and has been appearing here on Cyrene for quite a while. And somebody really wants this, and I've never seen the order filled at all. And I think that's because the numbers were lowballed. You'll see that often in orders, that they will be much lower than the markup for a particular deal. But this is YC ingots. I think that's how it's pronounced. You can see this person wants it at 300%, and the actual weekly and monthly, let's go with the monthly, is around 350% markup. So no wonder it's not selling. People know that, and they see, hey, wow, I can get 350% out of it. I'm not going to dump what one or two ingots worth of YC ingots for 300%. But there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of information. Why did this person continue to uh, keep putting up the YC ingot and YCAN ores up on the auction house when it sells for a much higher percent markup? Well, it happens to be exceedingly rare on this planet. I can find Cyrenium ore, which has no value, long before I can find YC, even though I have specific locations for YC ingots. So I had to dig a little deeper, and this is what I'm going to try to, hopefully this will teach you how to find that market and or create it, is I want to know why the person needs this and what you do with and what you create or manufacture with a YC ingot. So as always, first place to come is the Entropia wiki, and let's look up YC ingot. And the only blueprint it's used for is the Enkid Haller S4. That's really interesting. And look, it's strong sinew, bonding liquid, and YC. Well, bonding liquid is easy. That's red, yellow crystal, and vibrant sweat. I believe you use to make that. So that's bonding liquid is you can make it. It's an easy blueprint to get. The strong sinew, I believe, is dropped here on Cyrene and not, and it's fairly rare. So the YC ingots is the limiting factor, and then you need 10 of them. So let's take a look and see what this weapon is and what it looks like. Okay, so here we have this weapon, the Enkid Howler S4, and it's, yeah, level 50 gun, to be maxed. Really poor, we got what attacks per minute, 13. That's not really very good. Takes forever to reload. Doesn't look like a really super awesome weapon. Honestly, just looking through here, damage per peck is pretty good, but well, I can't see why you would want to make this other than to maybe it's never been made, or very few have been made and never tiered up, and somebody's just looking to get that the first global first person to tier 10 or tier 8 or whatever. That could be, but it's just we know the market's there, so we at least know that there's a certain amount of Wycene ore and ingots that this person needs, and this is the only weapon they can make from it. So we would want to try to dig up as much Wycene ore and then make the ingots and sell them in the auction house for about 350% markup. I think that would be fair for the rarity of this particular ore. But if you look, this person is also looking for the strong sinew. You can tell because all of the auctions for that, these are the only orders that are created, and it's obvious that the Enkid Howler S4 is what this individual is trying to make. So that's cool. And I'm not bagging on that person for trying to do this. They have a reason for wanting to craft this weapon, and if we can fulfill that need and that hole, then we have a market, right? And that's the whole plan here. This is how I go about sort of discovering markets in the game. If I have a specific location, and very few people have it, this person obviously doesn't have it, the location for YC ingots or YC ore, then I can sell and make a profit. And if I can do it over and over and over for niche markets or for any market, we could be looking at a bunch of other resources besides YC. But you want to find something that is sustainable, and you also want to find those ones that are niche, and then that can keep you in the game a lot longer because you're selling at high markup to people who have a high demand. Let's look at a couple of examples, 6 of them to be in fact, and the markup of particular ingots and ores and matters and so forth. So iron ingots, we're looking at about 111% markup. That's normal for right now because of migration. A lot of iron is used in making of weapons, and so I'm not really going to go into detail on iron. I'm just saying right now, iron, you can make that happen if you know where to find lots of iron. Alfrex ingots, I don't know what they're used for exactly. I think I have an idea there. I think they're used for weapons, but we'll look into that. And then Quantium also used for weapons, definitely used for weapons. And then we've got down below we have the Solus paste, pearl sand, and putty, and the just going from lowest to highest in the markup. So Solus paste, I found a lot of that today, just by chance. But I don't find pearl sand here, and I don't find putty here, or I don't, so, which is cave sap. So, the Solus beans, I found a lot of those, so I could sell those in not on Cyrene, but in the Calypso market. I'm going to look at that market here in just a second. But here are just a few examples of things that you can say. There definitely is a market for these ores and end matters, or ingots and end matters that are refined. And just getting used to what those things are used in and in what event is going on, whether it be mayhem or migration or, the mining events, which we haven't had in quite a while. But whatever that is, we're going to use the auction house to try to figure it out. So let's see. Let's use Alfrix. All right, we're using Alfrix here, and I'm using Calypso as the example because there's no market for Alfrix on Cyrene. So Alfrix stone, and well, I'm just looking at the ingots, but I do want to look at the stone in just a second. But let's see. We've got the ingots here, and the ingot average markup for month is 128%. It's getting a little lower here in the week and the day, but you can see 122%, all the way up to 245% for the auction house, and there are no orders for it. So the market for Alfrix is strictly what you see here. No huge demand, and I always check the orders. Just be smart and check the orders. So let's look up Quantium. I think Quantium is going to be. I know what it's used for, but let's just look at it here. So 150 to 200% markup. So, and there are not lots of offers for Quantium and not huge offers for Quantium. There's that 242, which is basically the same as amount that was sold in a day. So, not a lot of them, not a lot of offers, but and no orders. Interesting. So no orders for Quantium. That surprises me actually, because Quantium is used in the making of weapons. But let's look at Quantium and Alfrix on the wiki so we get a better feel for what those are used for. Quickly going through, this is Alfrix stone, and we see it's used in the making of pilot goggles, right? So that's interesting. The stone is actually used, so it may have some demand, but probably very little. And let's take a look then at the Alfrix ingot and see what that is used for. And let's go to all. It does look like we have some armor plating in here. We've got quite a few things actually. The Gex spur gears. I know those are used in other crafting. So level 10 finder and level 11 finder amplifiers. So there's definitely and then the Terra Master finders are down here as well. So definitely some good uses for the Alfrix ingot. And then we'll quickly jump over here to Quantium stone and ingots. And Quantium stone is only used for Quantium texture blueprints, so we don't have to worry about it there. Let's look at Quantium ingots. Quantium stone can be looted from beacon missions, but let's look at the ingot. I think the ingot's probably more interesting, and it'll help us figure out what the market is. And so right away we see, there it is. It's the AR Matrix guns. That's the reason that this has such good market, 150%. During migration, of course, everybody's going to be using these AR Matrix, and these are the bigger guns, so not the ones I use, the AR Matrix LR30. These are the big ones. So that makes perfect sense. So there you have. There is the market that you want to get into if you can, and if you have good locations for Quantium stone, then now you can see the use of these ingots and what the market looks like and how long it probably will last. Once migration is over, Quantium and Alfrix will probably cycle back to a lower markup around, Quantium probably be around 135 to 140%. Alfrix will come in around 115 to 118%. And then I could go into detail about Solus paste, pearl sand, and putty, but this, I think you get the idea. You look at what something has the markup, good markup, whether it be the stone or the refined into the ingot, or Solus paste, which is Solus beans, and then the refined material, which is Solus paste. You look at those markups and you say, where is that being utilized? and in what capacity. Is it because of migration? Is it because of a mining event? Is it because of a mayhem event? Or is there something else going on? Like there was a huge spike in lesser Lycia prices because of the event going on the next island. I guess it was used to craft something for one of the mission chains. So there it is. I mean, you have the tools at your disposal. You just need to find those high markup ores and end matters and use the auction house to find out, is there a market for it, and can you get into that market? Do you know where to mine up those particular ores, end matters, or treasures? And if you do, then that may be the way you create your own market by hunting through the information on the wiki, on special websites, and selling your wares for profit. I hope this information is valuable to you, showing you my methods for trying to stay profitable while mining. This is I use all the tools at my disposal: the planet chats, specific chats, the trade chats, the wiki, Cyrene Secrets, Monria webpage, whatever resource there is. I pour over it, and I learn as much as I possibly can from that to see where I can, what are the resources that I can find specifically and repeatably in the same location and get enough of it at markup to sell. That's how I profit. So I hope this was informative to all of you. Like I said earlier, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the notification bell so you can get the latest update in mining here in the Entropia universe. Thank you all for watching. Sturge signing off. Ciao for now.